Hi everyone, welcome back to the Comeback Yoga Chair series. So in today's class, we will build off of that flow sequence that we've practiced last week. But today we're gonna begin to incorporate our lower body. We're gonna begin to release our hips, bring length to the backs of our legs, our feet, our ankles, all of those fun things. So before we begin, as always, as a reminder, this class is completely and 100% for you, for what your body and your mind needs today. So please just use my words as a guide, but adjust whatever you need to feel comfortable and safe throughout the duration of the class. So let's go ahead and get started. So as always, let's establish that comfortable seated position, finding our mountain pose, that strong, solid position that we can always rely on. So scooting the hips all the way to the edge of our chair. We're going to root the feet flat and firmly into the floor. All 10 toes are facing forward. Our knees are about hip distance apart here. So we have that solid, strong lower base here. From there, we're thinking about rooting those sits bones firmly into the seat. We can think about even wiggling the hips back and forth so that we can feel the sensation in our sits bones. Think about that movement sort of reverberating up the spine, stacking one vertebrae of the spine on top of the other, getting a little bit taller here. Finding stillness now. Think about tucking the chin just ever so slightly so that we get length in the backs of our necks as well, along with the rest of our spine. And think about energy really coming through the top of our head, through the ceiling, so we get much taller here. And then we're going to really establish our core, our strong, solid core here that is going to help us to have the freedom to move our limbs a little bit more later in class. So here that we have our lower body firmly into the floor, we have a long spine, our shoulders are dropped away from our ears. Think about the belly button engaging towards the spine in the back. So we're activating those lower abdominals here. We're thinking about those bony parts of our rib cage in the front. Think about them maybe closing in together. Sometimes I like to imagine like sewing them together. So we have our abdominals in the front really engaged here. And then think about the lower spine flattening out as if you're leaning against a wall. In reaction, maybe your front hip bones tuck a little bit, and that's fine. But we're really trying to make sure that front core and the back core is strong and steady. So I really challenge you to try to hold this throughout the class. This is where we build strength in our core, our abdominals. This is where we can rely on the safety and the stability of that core to guide us and keep us stable throughout the class. So here we have our mountain pose. Breathing here, think about closing your eyes or finding a soft gaze and a low point in front of you, whatever's comfortable here. Placing both hands on your lap. Either your palms are facing up towards the sky, if you like that feeling of sort of gathering the energy around you, or if you'd rather flip your palms towards your thighs, that's fine too. Whatever feels good for your body today. Begin to slow down and elongate the breath. Thinking about lengthening the inhales and lengthening the exhales. Maybe you choose to direct the inhales deeply through the nose and allow the exhales to fall naturally through the mouth. Beginning to establish a rhythm with the breath. Inhaling evenly and exhaling evenly. This rhythmic breath will carry you through the rest of the class, will guide your movement, will calm your nervous system, and will generally root you to the presence of this class, of this chair, of this room. This is really a practice in presence. Returning to that rhythmic breath to guide you whenever you need it. Starting to tune into the sensations that come up for you as you deepen and elongate this breath. We've practiced this a little bit in the last 2 classes where we really hone into 1 or 2 sensations, whether it's temperature, texture, whatever it is. I challenge you to maybe notice something new. What's a new observation you can make, either externally, the air around you, the texture of your clothes, or internally, the relaxation of certain parts of your body as you breathe. Maybe a cool sensation internally as you direct your breath in certain parts of the body. Whatever it is for you, see if you can notice something new. Remembering that our breath is always there for us as a tool to calm our heart rates and our nervous systems and to steady our minds. Let's continue through this a little bit more, starting to introduce some movement here. So starting with the head and the neck, allow your right ear to fall to your right shoulder. And then slowly guide your head forward and back in this sideways motion here. So we're starting to get all those little kinks and cracks out of the side of the neck, the shoulder, maybe even the chest here. Gently guiding the head forward and back, introducing this movement slowly and gently. And then allow your chin to dip as you roll over to the other side. Once again, getting into the rocking motion of the head and the neck here, getting out all the kinks and cracks on the left side now. Elongating the shoulder away from the ear, feeling that nice stretch here, and maybe even like a massaging sensation as you move. And then we tuck the chin, once again, rolling over to the first side, but we're going to continue with the movement of the head and the neck, making one big circular movement, really exploring the circle. Discover something new, maybe a new sensation or a new area that you need to give a little extra attention and love to. As we explore and discover, this isn't about forcing our body into any one direction or any one movement. It's really about listening to our bodies and the needs it has today. And even a minor or small movement is still a movement. It's still something that can help the body and something that maybe you wouldn't be doing if you weren't in this class. Reverse sides. Sweeping your head to the left now, full circle of the head and the neck. So any movement, small, medium, large, anything in between is great. It's all about you listening to your body and what it needs today, right now, as we're in this class together. And finding stillness, long, straight spine. Remember the belly button into the spine. Remember those abdominals, the full core here. Really finding that strong, stable, tall mountain pose. Let's move lower down the body, moving into our shoulders now. So inhale as we bring the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, shoulders down and back behind you. And we're going to add on here. Inhale, sweeping the arms forward in front of you, up towards the sky. Exhale, down and back behind you. We're going to repeat this phrase 2 more times. Inhale, shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, down and back behind you. Inhale, sweeping the arms forward and up. Exhale, down and back behind you. Always an option to bend those elbows and those arms if you don't want to keep your arms straight. Inhale, last time, shoulders up. Exhale, down and back behind you. And last time, inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, down and back behind you. And let's reverse that sequence. Remembering you can keep the elbows bent if you'd like. Inhale, just the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, down and forward in front of you. Inhale, sweeping the arms back behind us this time. Exhale, down and forward. Let's repeat that whole phrase 2 more times. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, down and forward. Inhale, reaching the arms back behind you. Exhale, down and forward in front of you. Last time on this phrase. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, down and forward. Last time with the arms. Inhale, arms back behind you. Exhale, down and forward. Awesome job, everybody. All right, moving down our body, continuing down, releasing, stretching, feeling good. Let's move into our cat-cow. So we've introduced this last week in our class, and we're really working on accessing that flow state, that flow sensation where our breath and our movement is interconnected as one. So really think about returning to that rhythmic breath that we established in the beginning of the class that will guide you through this movement. You know it, it's familiar to you, and you'll have a couple of chances to get sort of used to it, used to the sensation, and then you can really access that flow. So placing the hands on your thighs, we're going to press through the thighs, open up the chest, arch all the way from the top of your head, all the way down to your tailbone, opening up the chest, looking up towards the sky. And then we exhale, curve the spine, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, nice moon-shaped curve in the spine. Inhale, arching, looking up towards the ceiling, an arch all the way from the tip of the head all the way down to the tailbone. Exhale, curving the spine, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone. Let's do that a couple more times. Accessing the breath as you do this, inhaling with one movement, exhaling deeply with the other movement. Really try to never stop the movement. The rhythm continues. Inhaling an arch, looking up towards the sky. Exhaling and curve, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone. Last time here, inhale, arch the spine, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curve the spine, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone. Beautiful job, everybody. Coming back to our mountain pose, long, straight spine. Great job. So now that we're feeling nice and loose in the sort of center of our body, let's work on our side body and our spinal twists a little bit here. So reaching down to grip the side of your chair with your right hand. This is where your support is. So we really can leverage the support of the chair and the strength of that right arm as we do this movement. The left arm now reaches down, side, and up on the inhale. Exhale, lean into the right side, leaning into that right arm. Check in, make sure we're not lifting that opposite hip, but both hips are rooted firmly and evenly into the chair as we lean into the side body stretch here. Inhale here. Exhale, allow yourself to get a little bit deeper if that feels good. And inhale, lifting up. Exhale, reaching that left arm across the body. We're going to grab hold of the outside of that right thigh. And then we're going to press into that thigh and the chair as we rotate into a long, straight spinal twist over to the right side. Inhale here, get a little bit taller. And exhale a little bit deeper into the twist, if that feels good. And release, coming back to the center. Awesome job. Now we're going to reverse sides. So now placing the left hand on the outside of the chair for support. So really using that as leverage here. Going to inhale, sweeping the right arm down and up. Exhale, leaning over to the left side now. So we're getting a right body side stretch here. Once again, check in with that hip. Make sure it's not lifted, but make sure both hips are rooted firmly into the chair so that we can really isolate the upper body and get into that stretch. Inhale here. Exhale, get a little bit deeper into the stretch if that feels good. And then inhale up. And exhale, reaching across the body, grabbing hold of the outside of the left leg now. Inhale, get a little bit taller in that spine. Exhale, deep in that spinal twist. Breathing here. Inhale once again. Exhale, get a little bit deeper into the twist if you'd like. And coming back to the center, mountain pose. All right, I hope everybody's feeling loose and ready. We got our front, our back, our sides. We even got into our spinal twists. So now let's get a little bit into our lower body. So scoot your hips a little bit back, maybe to the midway to your chair. You may need to adjust where you're seated so that it feels like you can move a little bit more. This is different depending on your body, the length of your thighs, your legs, the flexibility of your hip flexors. So please, I encourage you to make adjustments to where your hips are on the chair as we move forward throughout the class so that it's comfortable and the movement's accessible to you. So for me, I'm going to scoot my hips about midway through the chair. And then I'm going to roll back into my lower spine here. So there's a little bit of a curve now in my lower spine. My belly button is reaching back towards my spine even further. So I'm working on accessing those low, deep abdominals here. And then I'm going to grab hold of the bottom of my right thigh, and I'm going to use the strength of my arms and those low abdominals to lift my knee into the chest. Some people will be able to lift your knee all the way into your chest as if you're hugging your leg, and some people will only be able to hover your foot off the floor. Wherever you are in that spectrum is good. It's great. We're feeling a little bit of a flex in the hip flexor here, which is good. We're trying to bring heat here. Wherever you are, use the strength of your arms to guide that femur bone, guide the whole leg side to side. So we're bringing a little bit of heat, a little bit of massage into that hip flexor. Maybe opening up the inner thigh a little bit here, maybe feeling this in the glute, wherever you feel it, as long as there's not pain or too much discomfort, it's great. And finding stillness with your knee up. We're going to start to awaken the ankle, the calf, the toes. So rotating the foot in one direction. And I encourage you to really think about movement in the whole foot. So think about incorporating movement in the arches of your foot, in your toes, which can sometimes be a funny sensation for us. Reverse other side. Really try to encourage movement here, maybe where you haven't thought about it or played with it before. This loosening and also strengthening at the same time of the ankles, the calves, the feet, and the toes is really great for balance. Later on in my Tuesday class especially, we will start introducing some standing work a little bit if you're comfortable there, and this will really help with balance and stability. And lower that leg down. Awesome job, guys. Let's do the other side. So thinking about curling in that spine, engaging those abdominals first. That's really what we want to be the impetus of our movement here as we grab hold of the bottom of the left leg now, using the strength of your arms and your abdominals to lift your knee into your chest. Check in. Maybe there's less mobility on this side, or maybe there's more mobility. Doesn't matter. Our bodies are different on the right side versus the left. That often happens. Just want you to notice and check in. And then once again, sliding that femur bone, the whole leg side to side, massaging out and awakening that hip flexor a little bit, the inner thigh, the glutes. Great job, everybody. Finding stillness here. And we're going to rotate the ankle in one direction. And same thing here on this side. We're really encouraging movement, not just in the ankle, but we're thinking about movement in the arches of the feet, all 5 toes on this side, playing around and experimenting with that movement. Reverse other side. I don't know if you all can hear all of the crackles and pops going on in my ankle, but that's very common for those of us who, may not do this movement a ton, or we hold a lot of tension. You can cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. So this is our figure 4. And if you've chosen this option, make sure you flex your toes up towards your knee and make sure those toes are in line with the shin bone and aligned with the knee so that we're protecting the joints here. So we don't want an ankle to fall open or up. We want it to be nice and in line with the knee so we're protecting the joints. So if you've chosen option 1, hang out here, allow that knee to fall open. If you've chosen option 2, same thing here, flex the toes, allow that knee to open. Wherever you've chosen to be, if you're feeling enough sensation, enough of an opening in that outer thigh, the hip flexor, wherever you're feeling it, if it feels good and enough to you, hang out here. If you'd like a little bit more of an intensity in the stretch, think about lifting and elongating the spine first, and then just tilt the upper body forward, placing your hands, your forearms, your elbows, wherever it's comfortable for you, until you feel good about the stretch and the sensation that you're experiencing. Land somewhere, and then you can tuck your chin, allow your head to hang. So you're just sitting in this stretch for a few breaths, opening up that knee, feeling the glute, the outer thigh. And we don't want to hang out for too long. So we're going to roll up through the spine, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Grabbing hold underneath of that leg to reset your legs parallel to one another and lower that leg down. And maybe you need to give it a little wiggle, a little shake, bringing the blood flow back, just kind of resettling and resetting. All right, now let's do the other side. So same thing on this side, we're going to choose either option 1 to cross at the ankle, allow that left knee to fall open, or option 2 is crossing the left ankle on top of the right thigh. If you've chosen option 2, you're going to flex those toes up in line with the shin, in line with the knee, so we're protecting that joint. Check in here. It might be different from the right side. Is this enough sensation for you? Are you feeling good just hanging out here? If so, hang out. If you'd like a little bit more intensity, tilt your body forward with a long, straight spine. Find a place that feels good and nourishing to you, and then allow your head to hang, relaxing the head over, relaxing the neck. We're just working on opening up that outer thigh, the glute muscle here, and just feeling that stretch. And without hanging out too long, we're going to tuck the tailbone, roll up through the spine, grabbing hold of the bottom of that left leg, using the strength of the arms to return those legs parallel. Lower that leg down and shake it out. Recalibrating, resetting. All right, so we're feeling good. We're feeling like our upper body's loose. Now we've gotten into the lower body, and we're going to continue to build off of that lower body a little bit more if you've enjoyed that. So here we've made it all the way to the end of the class. We're going to return back to our breath work. So scooting the hips all the way to the back of your chair so your back feels supported here. Don't let yourself sink and relax into it. We're still alert and a part of the class. Our belly buttons are still engaged towards the spine, but the chair is just giving us a little bit of extra support here so we can relax into our final breath work. Once again, placing your hands on your thighs, either palms up or palms down, whatever feels good to you. Feel free to close your eyes or find a soft gaze and a low point in front of you to hold your attention. Returning back to that deep rhythmic breath that we established at the beginning of the class. Using it to steady our minds, steady our heartbeats and our nervous systems. Remembering that our breath is always there as a tool that we can use, whether in our yoga classes or especially outside of our yoga classes. It's always there for us when we need it. Placing both hands on your chest, relaxing your elbows down, we're going to close the class with 3 collective deep breaths. So releasing all the air from your lungs. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed class today. Thank you all so much for coming again to our class and coming back once again to our February chair yoga series. We have one more class next week, so I really hope you'll be there. And of course, as always, you're always welcome to join my regular Tuesday classes from 3:15 to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Email Cole if you're interested in that. And I hope to see you here next week. Thank you again.